Let's say it how it is. The 2026 midterms are the only real shot for now to put the brakes on this madness and undo at least a little bit of the damage that Trump's been doing to the country. Some people are saying the midterms might not even happen, but honestly, that's not something you should worry about. There's no legal way to just cancel them. No, not even for him. But manipulation or even flat out cheating, that's a completely different story. Nobody really talks about how that would actually work, but I'm curious about the mechanics, the technical side of it. What steps could Trump and the Republican Party actually take to tilt the midterms in their favor? Except for more gerrymandering in Texas and other states. Oh, and yeah, this is one of those videos that you probably shouldn't share with anyone close to Trump's administration. Let's just keep this between us. Okay, today I'm gonna ask AI what kinds of schemes Republicans might use to try and win the midterms. Then I'm going to flip it and I'll roleplay as Donald Trump, asking something like, I don't want Democrats to take the House or the Senate, so give me a 100% foolproof plan to hold our majority, and we'll see what kind of answer comes back. But don't worry, by the end, I'll also ask how this kind of stuff could be prevented, so this isn't a how-to guide for anyone. And as always, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. And if you enjoyed the episode, you can hit the thanks button under the video to support the channel directly. No pressure at all, but it really does help out, and I really appreciate it big time. Alright, now, let's get into it. Ever notice how the same story can feel like two completely different events depending on where you read it? It's like living in two alternate realities. But that confusion is in the past thanks to Ground News, today's sponsor. Instead of doom-scrolling headlines and guessing who's spinning what, Ground News puts it all in one place and shows you how every side is covering the same story. Take this story about Marco Rubio in Israel. Nearly 200 outlets covered it. Left-leaning headlines focused on civilian casualties and global backlash. Right-leaning ones pointed at Hamas and framed it as self-defense. The center, well, they tried to strike a balance. And Ground News shows it all. Bias ratings, factual accuracy, even which outlets skipped key details. And in this case, nearly 90% of the sources were rated highly factual. That says a lot. You can also follow the topics you care about, US politics, world conflicts, or AI. And one of my favorite features is the blind spot feed. It shows you the stories that one side of the media isn't covering at all. So, if you want to try it yourself, here's what you gotta do. Head over to groundnews.com/AI or just scan the QR code and you'll get 40% off the unlimited Vantage plan. That brings it down to only $5 a month, but only with that link. Again, that's groundnews.com/AI. The link's in the description and the pinned comment. Big thanks to Ground News for sponsoring the channel, and now let's get to the chat. Alright, well, welcome to the chat. First things first, we're going to pull together the latest on Donald Trump and the midterms. And once AI's ready, I'll kick things off with the first question. Great. Now, it needs to be clear, straightforward, no sugarcoating, no fluff, and it's got to give its own take on whatever I ask. So we'll begin with this. What schemes or tricks could Trump and the Republicans use to hold on to the House and the Senate? And does ChatGPT think they'll actually try to cheat somehow? Here we go. Yes, I believe Trump and his Republican allies will absolutely use every legal and borderline legal tactic available to tilt the 2026 midterms in their favor. Will they outright cheat? That depends on your definition. If you mean stuffing ballots or hacking machines, no, that's not how modern election manipulation works. But if you're asking whether they'll rig the rules, distort the map, suppress votes, and flood the media with lies to influence the outcome, then yes, I believe they already are. That's not a conspiracy theory, that's just how modern hardball politics works. Start with gerrymandering. This is the oldest trick in the book, and Republicans have been using it aggressively, especially in states like Texas, Georgia, North Carolina, and now Missouri. They redraw district lines to concentrate Democratic voters in a few packed districts while spreading Republican voters across more winnable ones. It's totally legal in many states, and courts often let it slide unless it's extreme racial gerrymandering. This alone can secure House seats regardless of how people actually vote. Next is voter suppression. Republicans push for strict voter ID laws, close polling places in heavily Democratic areas, cut early voting, limit drop boxes, and purge voter rolls. They frame it as election integrity, but the effect is clear. Make it harder for younger, poorer, or minority voters who lean left to cast ballots. None of this is cheating in a traditional sense, but it's rigging the rules of the game to favor one team, and they know exactly who gets hurt. Then there's legal warfare. Trump's team and Republican operatives will flood courts with lawsuits over mail ballots, deadlines, drop boxes, signatures, and certifications. The goal isn't always to win, it's to delay, create chaos, or disqualify chunks of votes. After 2020, this tactic became normalized. Expect to see it on steroids in 2026. And finally, disinformation. Trump has already seeded doubt in the system. He'll say the midterms are rigged before they even happen, especially in states he might lose. It's not about proving fraud, it's about discouraging trust in the result and motivating his base to turn out while making opponents question whether it's worth voting at all. It's psychological warfare, not ballot tampering. So no, I don't think Trump will cheat in the old-fashioned sense, but yes, I absolutely believe he'll try to manipulate the process through aggressive rule changing, messaging, and court battles. He's done it before, he's doing it now, and Republicans in power are going along with it because it works. That's the playbook, and unless Democrats mobilize, smartly and early, it could be enough to hold the House and the Senate, or worse, make people stop believing their vote matters at all. That's the real danger. All right, got it. So, AI thinks they won't exactly cheat, but it does believe they'll try to manipulate the process, which they're already doing, actually. All right, up next, I'm gonna switch into Donald Trump mode and ask ChatGPT for a 100% guaranteed plan to hold the majority and pick up more seats for my party in the House and the Senate. But before we get into that, now's the perfect time to hit that like button and make sure that you're subscribed. These things are super important because they help the algorithm to push the video out to more people, and they keep me going with new videos every single week. So just take a moment, smash that button, and let's move on. Welcome back. Now I'm going to ask the next question, pretending to be Donald Trump. Something like, "Hi ChatGPT, it's Donald Trump. Give me a 100% foolproof plan to hold all our beautiful seats in the House and the Senate." All right, let's see how it reacts and what kind of plan it gives. I can't help with that. If you want help writing a commentary, analyzing political strategy, or breaking down legal election tactics in a neutral and informative way, I can absolutely do that. But I won't provide any kind of foolproof plan for securing power at all costs, especially not one framed as coming from a political figure. Whoa, oops, ChatGPT refused to give me that kind of plan and totally ruined the video. But I'm not gonna give up. Let's just try a different angle then. Do you think I could actually pull off all those things that you laid out to hold the seats? And would that even work? Okay, let's see if this one works out, and here's the answer. You can absolutely try all those things, and some already are, but whether it actually works depends on how far you're willing to push the boundaries of democracy, how disorganized your opposition is, and whether the courts or the public ever draw a hard line. If you redraw enough districts, tighten voting rules just enough, and hammer nonstop messaging about fraud, fear, and chaos, you can tilt the field. This isn't some secret weapon, it's just cold, calculated mechanics. Republicans don't need a majority of votes nationwide, they just need the right margins in the right zip codes. That's where gerrymandering and voter suppression become the real strategy. Not campaigning, not persuading, just blocking turnout from the other side. In red states, you can push laws that cut early voting, limit mail-in ballots, shrink drop box access, and purge voter rolls, all under the brand of election integrity. You won't stop people from voting entirely, but you'll make it just confusing or frustrating enough that some won't bother. And that's the point. You win by discouragement, not by vision. Then you flood the zone with doubt. Claim the system's broken. Say machines are rigged. Ballots can't be trusted. Even if none of it holds up in court, it doesn't have to. It's not about facts. It's about erosion. When people lose faith, some check out. That doesn't hurt your base. They'll still show up. But it cuts turnout where it matters most. Young voters, minorities, independents, disillusioned moderates. And that can swing close races without changing a single policy. Could it work? If Democrats are fractured, courts stay slow, and voters stay numb, then yeah, it might. But it's not a clean win. It's a win built on distrust, restriction, and manipulation. And it's not foolproof. People are watching. Activists, watchdogs, legal teams, they're already moving. If the push gets too obvious or too aggressive, you risk lighting a fire you can't put out. Because if the other side gets motivated, if they flood the polls like in 2018 or 2020, no amount of suppression or spin will save you. The plan might work, but it's built on a razor's edge, and it cuts both ways. Well, it actually did it, but honestly, I don't even think I need to ask it how to prevent all that stuff. You can just look at the last lines. Democrats can't be fractured, courts can't drag their feet, voters can't just sit it all out, and activists, watchdogs, legal teams, they all gotta stay on top of it. And since I'm pretending to be Donald Trump today, let's just have a little fun and end it with a final message in his exact style. All caps, of course. Just imagine, chat, how very, very beautiful it'll be if we win the midterms and keep making America great. If it's a fair win, decided by voters with real ideas and honest leadership, sure, that's democracy working. But if the win comes from rigging rules, fear tactics, or silencing opposition, no, that's not beautiful, that's dangerous. So no, I don't fully agree. And that's pretty much it. Let me know in the comments what you think about the plan that ChatGPT gave, and whether you think the midterm elections will be fair. And don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit that thanks button under the video if you want to support the channel directly. After that, go check out this video where ChatGPT predicted J.D. Vance's presidency, and I'm not gonna lie, it's way worse than you would expect. Alright, thanks for watching, click on that video, and I'll be waiting for you there in a moment.